So as presenter is here, so shall we get started? Okay, so hey everybody, welcome to our presentation, and thank you for joining us. And we see lots of people from Philadelphia, New York, and welcome. So today in our session, we're going to talk about our middle school CS curriculum that we co-designed and developed it with our teachers. So by co-design here, what I mean is that we with teachers together decided what are the units that we want to have in this curriculum, and then teacher provided the resources that they tested in the classroom and found this very useful for the whole curriculum. So here is our presenter. Oh, Bernardo just dropped out. Is it? Sorry. So here's our presenter. So my name is Jillian Bausch. I am a PhD candidate from SUNY Albany. So we have our second presenter, Liz.
Yes, hi. Hi, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Thomas Capello. I'm with the University of Albany, and I am a PhD student and a research assistant.
Yeah, and Bernardo.
Hi. Sorry, I just got kicked out. I'm Bernardo Feliciano. I'm at University of Massachusetts Lowell. I am also a research assistant and a PhD candidate in research and evaluation in education.
Yeah. And we have also Dr. Nee. Dr. Nee, what?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Li Jin Nee from University of Albany, UAlbany. We just call SUNY Albany here. Welcome to our session. We have three great speakers today. We'll introduce you about our curriculum and walk you through with some hands-on activities. I apologize, I might turn my audio and video on and off to keep my kids safe in the middle of this presentation. Yeah.
Okay, so here is the whole structure of our presentation. So let me first share this slides in the chat, and also, sorry, can anybody help me share the curriculum website, please? Thank you. So our presentation today, we're gonna first talk about, go through our curriculum website, and then I will show you guys some examples and models of how our teachers implemented this curriculum into their classroom. So because we have teachers from various subject areas, then we'll have our second presenters to talk about how different subject areas, basically the civics and technology teachers that implemented the curriculum into their classroom. And then for the second half of our presentation, we'll give everybody a hands-on with the app lab. Liz is gonna be leading that presentation at that time. So expect to get a very, if it's the first time for you, fresh experience with logging into app lab, and you can leave this session with the app that you created today. So, okay. Let's talk about our curriculum. So our curriculum is a it's not showing here. So yeah, our curriculum is approximately 18-hour computer science and digital literacy curriculum. It consists of 5 units with 2 to 6 modules in each of the units. And in each unit, we integrated both plugged activity that kids operate things on computer, and unplugged activity that they can do it with their teachers or paper or pencil. So, and also a culturally responsive module. So our goal is to engage like culturally diverse students in the district by asking them to create apps for social good and connecting their interest and their community to the computer science or the app creation. So the next slide is a image that shows that how our each units that connect with the New York State Computer Science and Digital Literacy curriculum standards. So you can see that our curriculum does cover a wide spectrum of these standards. So let's go directly into, I'm going to show you the website. Do we have the website shared in the chat? Not yet? Okay,
I got it.
I got it. Thank you.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah. So we can take a look, give everybody just a glance at the website. So the website on the left, we have the curriculum where we have unit 1, 2, 3, 4. So the first unit introduces the impact of computing and apps for social good. So it consists of 3 modules that we clearly labeled. Module 1 is about app for social good. So the goal of this module is to connect students with their community, with some like culturally responsive topics. Let them think about what kind of topic they want to make an app and help the people in their community, or how to make an app that connected with their own interest. So in this module, we also provided some of the resources that's been tested out by our teachers. And for example, we have teacher did vision board with their students. So the goal of here is to have students to know about each other and learn about each other's culture and their community. We also provided some other tools in here. So in this module, teachers choose to use culturally responsive as a pedagogy to connecting their course content, either is technology, something about technology with the student life, or some other topics with the app creation. And then we have the second module is called CS for All and App Lab. That is basically introducing students to the tool that they use to create the app. That is called App Lab. In this module, we also provided teachers with a lot of resources that you can use. As you can see, the link right here that teacher can have students take a look at that code.org website to encourage the students to be interested in browsing the website by themselves. And then the third module is about computer science vocabulary and concepts. This being implemented by some teachers that just get students to get familiar with some of the vocabularies. And the unplugged activity here is being favored by a lot of teachers. It's called peanut butter and jelly. This is to kind of helping students understand sequencing in computer science. There's a lot of computational thinking embedded in this activity. So yeah, this is what our website looks like. And for the first unit, most of our teachers implemented both of the 3 core modules with their choice of different materials. And for the CS and App Lab, we introduced 2 different levels of getting students into the app creation. So the first one is Hour of Code, which is slightly easier than the App Lab. So teachers, based on their student CS experience, choose to go either into the Hour of Code first or directly going into the App Lab. So this is the first unit. And then the second unit, we have students go directly into making their first app by using App Lab. So teacher usually kick it out with the introduction to App Lab, which is one of the tutorial courses on code.org. And then after that, right after this intro to App Lab, a lot of students already be able to make their first simple apps with like the screen that flips. And then teacher also, the second part is about the digital literacy, that teacher will make sure that students get familiar with some digital literacy skills, including like creating some buttons and copy paste some links of sounded image in App Lab. And so at the end, a lot of teachers choose to do app research project, have students to do brainstorming to think about what kind of app, what's the topic they want to make for their app. And in here, we also, the Unplugged activity, a lot of teachers implemented at the beginning of the course, that they invited some speakers into their classroom. On the website, we provided right here. Okay. On the website, we provided 4 different tools that you can use to connect some professionals in the industry with your classroom, such as Amazon Future Engineer and Skype a Scientist. That we have, one of our teachers has the experience of getting a engineer from Amazon going into her classroom and talk about the gender pay gap in the CS industry. So that's quite rewarding. And in this unit, we also provided some guidance of the pair programming. And a lot of teachers didn't do this as an independent class, but embedded with the Intro to App Lab class, that they pair 2 students, 1 navigator, 1 driver, that's doing the Intro to App Lab together and make their first simple app. So as you can see, that's this is different combinations of our teachers did in their classroom that we also encourage our audience today to think about how this can be implemented in your class. And then Unit 3, we are going into more deeper basic computer science concepts, such as variables and debugging. So because after Intro to App Lab, students started to get interested in making their app, a lot of the teachers shared the experience that students really started to go wild and like do more advanced app at home by themselves. Then they come back with more questions of what's going on with my app. So in here, that's the best time to introduce them about debugging. So we have last year, the year 3, we have 3 teachers that spend some time with their students introducing debugging as a standing alone class. We provided some of the resources that from code.org that actually you can do these activities of debugging with your students. That's located in Unit 3. And the CS concept that introduced here is variable. So the resources of variable is also listed in here in Module 2. As you can see, these are the resources that's being tested by our teachers and gathered by the teachers that is available on code.org and some other resources. And then the Unit 4, we're going more deeper into more advanced concept of computer science, including conditionals and functions. Actually, functions is not being reached by a lot of our teachers here because from their practice, they find out like students started to struggle a little bit when they're doing conditionals. So in here, lots of teachers encourage students to do remixing, that you can find some remixing apps, the code from the apps already on the code.org website. So they use that model to let the student try out to try to learn conditionals from remixing the code. And at this point, Unit 4, teachers also encourage their students to think about a final app. Remember at the Unit 2, we have students already make their simple app. Over here, teachers encourage students to think about a topic. That's where it connected with their curriculum. a topic that related to their curriculum that that kind of encourage their students to create the apps for social good. So, and then the last, we also have Unit 5, that is we give teachers some guidance on the website on how to, it's not shown here, but that's some guidance of how you can organize an app showcase for your in your classroom with the students. For example, students can show their apps to their students, and we provided a kind of a rubric for each of students to rate their classmates' app. So students pretty much like that unit as well. So yeah, that's the overview of the website, and just want to get you guys familiar with our curriculum. And the next, we'll have Bernardo talk about how our curriculum being integrated into different subject areas.
Thanks, Jillian. So Jillian's been referencing the curriculum website, and I worked with teachers to try to put together the website to present material that would be useful to them as they develop their own enactments of mobile app development. So the first iteration, as Jillian has described it, was more of a tech-oriented pathway that followed more or less a typical teaching progression of basic to more complex mobile app or computer science concepts. And that we've called kind of the tech pathway. With this pathway, some science, not science, civics and environmental science teacher were able to integrate mobile app development into their non-CS classes. However, teacher and researcher experience had prompted us in year 3 of the project to that we more explicitly tie non-CS subject matter with civics in mobile app development. So civics is the class that we really tried to tie mobile app development to, that we've tried so far to really tie it to. Civics teachers in Massachusetts work with an action civics framework that's based on Generation Civics. So what you can see here on this slide is that there are Massachusetts, the course that the action civics framework that Massachusetts teachers use has these 6 stages. And what we try to do is figure out how do we kind of go from the tech pathway to these through these 6 stages to a framework that would be recognizable to civics teachers. And that's what we ended up calling the CS Civics Pathway. So can you go ahead and go to the curriculumcspathways.org link, Jillian? Okay, so if you look over on, go ahead and go to the website. Yeah, if you look over on to the left, you can see that there is a link for the civics pathway, the tech pathway, and then there's also a link to the civics pathway. So if you click the tech pathway, you can see the listing of the units. Why computer science for all, why apps matter, and how to make them, much as what Jillian has presented. If you click then to the civics and CS pathway, you'll see that we have different titles. If you go to the site and you actually click through the pathways, you'll notice that there's a great similarity between the units and almost identical modules. And except for a few instances, differences between the 2 pathways come down to the module, the ordering of the modules, and the framing text that we use to explain the modules. So if you take a look at the tech pathway, the first stage 1 for the tech path, or unit 1 for the tech pathway, it says why computer science for all, and then it goes for apps for social good. If you go to the civics and CS pathway, you'll see that stage 1 talks explicitly about working with identity, community, and computer science, immediately trying to draw the connection between the idea of community and computer science, and actually has app-specific action in it. But I actually put in a module 0 in there to talk about getting started with code.org, because many of our civics teachers might be teaching classes that have never had a computer science course using mobile app development. If you scroll up a little bit, Jillian, you can see that in the overview, I provided an overview that talks specifically about thinking about civics in terms of computer science. It seems like a small difference between the two pathways, but we found, just as when we were teaching the two different pathways, that the framing for the teachers and for the students is just as important as teaching the concepts. So can you go to the next slide? So what we've tried to do is three things, or what in working with teachers and developing the website. We've tried to have our website provide three things to get going on this curriculum. And one is the getting started page, which explains the tech and civics pathways, but also provides explanations for the core experience that we've tried to we want all teachers to have, which has to do with creating three basic apps: an informational app, a keeping score app, and a winning message app. And those apps provide the foundation, the understanding of event-based programming using variables and conditionals. So this getting started page is the page that we actually use as guidance in our professional learning as well. You can go back to the previous page. So you can always go to the Getting Started app, the Getting Started page, in order to find out, to review some of the concepts. And the second thing that we did is recognize that framing is very important. We tried to frame our approach as a student-centered approach, where we're trying to spark student interest in the tech. In the tech pathway, we're framing that student interest in terms of what a student's interest is. So it's, in terms of community, it's like, what community interests you? And then students can begin to conceive of and program an app that addresses their interests. In the civics pathway, the question becomes, how can you make a difference in your community with the app that you make? And both of those are framing questions that really get the kids to think about what the app is, how the app is connected to their lives first, and then begin to address the concepts for, or the way to create the app second or next. And then thirdly, we developed this website to address a just-in-time support ethic. So working with civics teachers, just working with civics teachers, I really started to think, okay, what is it that the teachers need in order to support how they want to teach civics in their classrooms? So one of the things that we figured out, and this may seem self-evident to you, is that a teacher asked, can he send students directly to the website? And I had to think, oh, I'm not just making this for teachers. I need to make this so students can go there and find the things that they're interested in. So that really had me thinking about, okay, what do I have to provide to do that? So can you go ahead and click useful resources? Or getting help. I'm sorry, it's called getting help. So this getting help page was where I began to just start to collect all the things that, when teachers were asking me questions, how do we support kids doing X, Y, Z? this is where I started to kind of collect resources for them that would be kind of aimed towards students. And this is the page that a teacher asked if he could send his students here. And I said, well, of course. And so then I thought, well, maybe I should start thinking about exactly what the teachers and students want to see when they go to these pages. And that's where I started to make and collect information for the apps and code page, because that was one of the things in a just-in-time sort of scenario. Can you go ahead and go to the apps and code link over on the left? Whoops. Oh, it's on the menu. Apps and code. Hopefully there we go. Apps and coding resources. So students started asking students and teachers started asking for examples. So I started putting examples that kids made from past years. But also, this is where I realized, oh, teachers and kids don't necessarily recognize apps by the concepts that they're covering, but rather what they're about. So here's where I started thinking about, well, what is it that civics teachers want to be able to do? And so instead of talking about using the data aspect of code.org, I figured, oh, they want to know how to do surveys. Could you scroll down a little bit on there? So then I started saying, oh, they want to know how to put music and sound in their apps. So I started organizing things according to function, like app function, how you would use the app rather than the concept behind the app. So where it says surveys, ordering like pizzas, because some kids were trying to come up with ways to have people order pizzas, ordering saving scores, all of those things had to do with building an app that could collect data. But kids and teachers who are new to CS didn't see that was what it was about. So I had to just reframe it so that it would make sense to someone looking for a specific tool when they come to the website as a toolbox. And what we found is examples of apps or examples of code were really important for kids and teachers to see, rather than trying to just come up with the code from the concept. Okay, next slide. And so in making sense of my experience working with teachers to integrate CS, I found that working with them, we have to negotiate three aspects of the integration. One is figuring out or negotiating what a specific classes are what their priorities are for student learning. And for civics teachers, they came in the order of, first, they wanted to be able to have the kids learn civic skills and content. And then collaboration skills were another big thing that they were interested in, problem solving skills, and success in school. And way down at the bottom was CS skills and content. So it was very important to make sure that the app was going to be something that addressed these other four priorities ahead of them. And then another thing that we had to make sure we addressed was that the purpose, what was the purpose of the app for the integration? These are some of the purposes that some of the civics teachers had. Some were to assess civics knowledge, but very often it had to do with, especially for Generation Citizen, it had to do with developing apps that could serve as tools to advance an action civics curriculum or agenda. And then again, learning the CS skill or learning a CS concept was not primarily on the mind of a civics teacher. And then finally, we had to address, well, what are the processes and practices that we had available for achieving the purposes that we had, that we came up with. And although I've presented these kind of in this linear order, a lot of times the processes and practices can influence, well, what then can we set as our priorities? What then can we set as our project purposes? For example, when you negotiate, if one of the things that we did was go into classrooms to present how to do a database or how to introduce variables to your students. If you didn't have the if you didn't necessarily have the ability to have graduate students come in and do this sort of demonstration, your ability to support students doing data gathering, making data gathering apps might be limited because of their ability, having access to people that can help them debug some of their apps. So that, so now I believe we're moving on to the hands-on portion of the.
Thank you so much, Bernardo. That was really, really great. The resources are so amazing. I think we've had some people join. Is there any way, I guess everybody can see the chat, but as long as we have it updated so everybody can see all of the links that we've posted, we've got some amazing resources. And I believe you've got the presentation as well. The links are all at the end of the presentation. So hello, everybody. My name is Elizabeth. I also teach computer science. So I'm really excited to share with you our app that we have created and maybe do a little bit of hands-on. We'll build as much as we can. If you could just do me a favor and put, and if you have a question, please, we can stop and answer any questions. We could have probably taken some questions before we move into the next part. So if there's anything that you would like to share, or if you have a question about anything Jillian or Bernardo presented, please feel free to share that out. It would be great. And so if you could, though, just head back to the chat. Oh, yeah.
You share the screen and I'll stop sharing.
Oh, yeah. Let me share. Sounds good. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. Ooh. That doesn't look good, does it?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's not great.
On screen. Yeah, just click.
Stop sharing.
Stop share. Yeah, and click it again. Click it again.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you need to share your window instead of the screen.
Ooh, okay. Nope.
I can help.
Okay. Yeah, unfortunately. Okay. Yeah, that's probably okay. But I'm not sure why. Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah. So if we could just head into the chat, if you wouldn't mind putting, if you have any experience with code.org, that would be great. If you can say you've played around with it, and specifically we're going to be working with App Lab. So if you have any experience working with App Lab, code.org, that would be great. You could just put yes or no or anything at all. That would be great, just to kind of help and see where we might begin to start. So 10 years, but not specifically App Lab. Okay, thank you, Lynette. Appreciate that. Okay. So if you're in the specific presentation, all of these links are open to you. Okay, thank you, Danny. Appreciate that. So all of the links and for images and text that we're going to be using for our app are going to be right here. So if you want to take a minute, and we won't really open anything yet, but if you want to take some time to kind of open those up, we'll get right back to that in a minute. I just want to walk through a couple of things about some of the computer science concepts that we address with Jillian. You can keep sharing. I just wanted to address some of the computer science concepts that we're going to be talking about, so we don't have to go back to the slides so often and just go back and forth. So, and then we'll walk into App Lab, where we can just kind of remain, because I know we have a limited time. So thank you, Jillian. Do you want to just go into the next slide? Okay, perfect. All right. So if you haven't created a code.org account, which we'll just do a quick sign in by sharing, but we're going to be logging in. We're going to be working with projects, and we're going to specifically select App Lab. And we'll see a screen on the right that looks exactly like this. Sounds good. So we can go sign in, or you can create your own account. And what we're going to do is go to the word create. And we're going to go to App Lab. Thank you so much. And Jillian, if you could just go back to the slides. I just want to stay in the slides until we get through some of these. Your screen is going to look like this. We're going to have a code button, a design button, and those are primarily those two components. I know Bernardo spoke about data, which is a little more complex component for middle school computer science. So let's go to the next slide, if you don't mind. Okay. So we have our code tab is where we'll be working with the elements of the app. App Lab will save your work. We're going to drag the coding blocks when we're in the code tab from the various parts of the toolbox. And I believe another area, so when your mouse is on the screen, it does display the location in pixels. So when we're designing and teaching the kids that we can look at mobile devices, kind of a user experience, that does help us because it really does mimic how an app is created, where we always know where we are and where items are fitting on a screen. So let's go to the next slide. All right, so our specific elements, we've got a button, which will trigger an event. We'll be making buttons. We have text input, where you can just type a title. We have a label, which allows any text. Oh, sorry, text input, where they can input any text. We have a label, which you can just display for a title of some kind. We have a drop down, and we'll see that in an app as well. We have a radio button, which is a different type of button students can use. We have an image, which allows you to add an image to your app. We could do a background image, or we can actually size it depending on the block that we have. So we have something in the top left corner, 0, 0, and the bottom 4 right is 4. Thank you, Lynette. That sounds great. Can you go back really quickly? Yes, exactly. Okay, and then a screen. We can add a new screen to the app, and then we have our text area, similar to the text input. Okay, thank you so much. So with our CS Pathways curriculum, do you want to move to the next slide? Thank you very much. With our CS Pathways curriculum, we really hit upon the sequencing of code, which is moving from one item to a next. But we also look at variables, and having students create a variable, having them learn to initialize a variable and update a variable as well. So in code.org, we're going to declare a variable. In the case of this little block where it says var score equals 0, code.org is based on JavaScript. And so we will declare a variable, and we can set that score to 0. In code.org, we do assign a variable like this. So score equals score plus 5. We can update and give 5 points. In the case of the app that we have, it is creating it is updating a score. If students get a right answer, they can get 5 points. And in code.org, we can reassign a variable like this. So score equals score minus 1. We can reassign and change that depending on if it's a right or a wrong answer. And the example in the code block that we have over here, we've got the sequencing. The specific selection. So in this case, if they right click right, it will play a little sound. The score will be added to 5 and it will display their new score. And in the event that they have a wrong, which it will be a wrong click, it will play a sound and it will score -1, and that score will be updated for them. So that would be our selection, which really gets into updating the variable. Let's go to the next slide, which talks about our conditionals. Okay, so it can kind of push into this a little bit, where we've got our conditionals. We use our blocks, our blue blocks, to create a conditional. To add an option or a choice, we use our if and our else blocks. The if statement is also uses the comparison operator. So I know we have a few math teachers here, and within our math component, which is the orange block in code.org, we've got our relational operators, our greater than, our less than, or not equal to. And in the little example that we have over here for var I equals 0, I is less than 4. And then we've got a, this is actually a for loop. Okay, so our if statement is the third one down. We've got a while loop and then an if statement. With our CS pathways, we specifically don't get into for loops very much. I think it's been touched upon a little bit in a couple of lessons for teachers, but we really don't go that far. We really stick with the conditionals is the most. And if we can get to variables and really get the concept in of variables before they move on into the high school, then it's gold. So we really do like that the most. I believe that's kind of where we seem to land a little bit the most. Does anybody disagree with me? Is anybody, Jillian or Bernardo, do you want to add anything in on that as far as how far we get with the CS concepts?
Yeah, variables, conditionals, that's about as far as we can get conceptually. I know that like a lot of the civics teachers want to have a survey in there. And so like one of the things that I've done is I've tried to show how you can do surveys without necessarily using a variable or a conditional. So I've given them a skeleton that they can use to do that kind of thing, and then they can move on to more complicated ones later.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. So I think that's just kind of a basic run through of the computer science concepts that we really try to approach with CS pathways. So I think overall, as a computer science teacher standpoint, you don't have to be a computer science teacher to do this work. The CS pathways curriculum really is based on teachers that just want to integrate this into their work. So with this type of, with the website that we've created, the training that we have, just kind of these basic fundamental computer science work, we really want the teachers to enjoy the work. We want the students to get a lot out of the things that they create, the apps that they create, and being able to share them and be proud of their work. So why don't we go into the slide that had all the links on it? That was kind of a little bit further back. Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay. So we only have about roughly 10 minutes. We might want to take some questions at the very end. But if you can click on the sample images, do you want to go back and just click on the sample images, Jillian? I've already loaded these up into an app, but just so you can see what these are. So we've got the images and the text, workshop images and text are all loaded in this folder. You should be able to see everything here. And let's go back into those slides again. Oh no, we lost her. I wonder if I can try to share now. let me try to share. Okay. I could try. I don't want to do. Yeah, I'm a little nervous about that. I'm going to have to talk to Tom about this. I'm so sorry, everybody.
Let me see if I can do it.
Okay. I'll stop.
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Okay, I got it.
I'm back. Okay.
Okay.
I got it.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
What do you want me to click?
Oh, this is good. Yeah. So if you could go into the computer science document. So we have a hands-on activity. This is a teacher directed, had developed this lesson. If you could click on the notable computer science document piece.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's no problem. The notable computer science document. This lesson was.
So let me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me share because I think Bernardo is sharing the tab.
Share. Yeah.
Sorry. Yep. Here we go.
There you go. Sorry, I had wrong window.
Am I sharing? Can you guys see?
A white screen.
Yeah. What?
It was there. It was there.
Here we go. Yep.
There we go.
Okay, perfect. Okay, excellent. So this was created by one of our teachers, and we've added in some other computer programmers, and she was able to kind of choose. The students were able to research. So we can go back to some of the other links. I know we're kind of short on time.
Sorry.
We'll have a little conversation about we're having a little with our friends. Okay. So we have a little idea here. If there's any ideas you think you might, as you have listened to Bernardo and Jillian, and if you're inspired by any of the things that you might like to do in your own classroom, please feel free to grab a text box and share anything. That would be really, really great. And let's go back to the document again. And let's go to the link of the final app so everybody can see this in case they have to log off. Okay, so this app is for you to have. We have a sample app that we have created. And if you would like to look more thoroughly and play around with this app, what you can do is hit the remix button. But let's hit run right now, and we can just see how this app works, if that's okay. So just like we looked at our slides, we've got our code side. Do you mind hitting run, Jillian?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Okay, and if we click on our first button, we've got biography. And we have a great picture of her. We can click on where born. And this is Rediet Ababi. I'm sorry I didn't introduce her. She is a wonderful computer scientist, and the work that she's doing in artificial intelligence is really great. So she was. I did my own research a little bit and was inspired by her. So this is a little bit of biography. We also encourage our students when we make these apps to have a little home button that they can just click back and get right back to home. So let's go on the achievements portion. And we have an achievement, and we also have this bar that we can just kind of move back and forth. We can go back home. And we have the impact on computer science. So we have 3 buttons going to different screens. So we can see how this would be mapped out. And then we have a little short quiz. And what organization did she find? So if they click the right button, Black in AI, they're going to get 5 points. And then let's go to the next button. And what is ready at Abibi area of research? We can click and.
Yeah, sorry, it's the share screen.
Oh yeah, no problem. Okay, no problem. Yeah, of course, no problem at all. And just go to home. We can go back to home.
I just select
Oh, okay.
artificial intelligence.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. All right. And our home screen, we might have to reset from here and just go to reset.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay. So with our screen, if you would like to, again, use this app for your own self, we've got the remix button. Jillian, would you mind clicking on remix? Because right now you can see that we're in view only with this app. And just like we were looking in the slides, we have our code view, which is what we're in right now. And if you can you scroll up to the very top? Thank you so much, Jillian. We've got our variables that are listed up at the top. We make those at the top of our screen in order to have a global variable that can be seen by the entire program. And if we look at this is based on JavaScript events, all of these are connected. And when we click certain items within the screen, it will set and go to a new screen. Do you mind scrolling down a little bit more, Jillian? Thank you so much. Okay, so we've got our variable. These are our events that happen with our quiz, and it will set our score and give our students our score. So we have our quiz component with this. And then we also have, if we scroll down, a if statement over here. So we have if they choose artificial intelligence, we're going to set the screen to artificial intelligence. If they choose algorithms, it's going to set the screen to this screen called algo. So thank you so much. Let's go to design and just explore this a tiny bit more. Okay, so if we're in this front screen and it looks like you're clicked, can you click on the image in the back, Jillian? I think you might be. Oh, can you? Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, so we have our image loaded up. We have our size set. Our image, we can choose whatever image we like. The students can upload these. I've got a border color, and let's click on one of the buttons. I just want to show the ID. So the first one, by biography, if we click on the biography, it immediately turns to my ID bio. And then the text is saying biography. I can choose the width and the height. I can also choose the color. I can choose my font. And would you just run back to code, the code portion? So we've got this ID of bio, and scroll up to the top, if you don't mind. Thank you so much. And if we go, we see this word bio at the very top. On event bio, click, and then it's setting the screen to a screen called by. And Jillian, can you do the drop down from here with the screens?
It's not going to show.
It goes into design, right? Oh, the drop down doesn't show. Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so I made something else. I know we are short on time. Jillian, would you go back to the screen?
To the screen?
Yeah, to the slide presentation. Yes.
Oh, okay.
No, thank you. So I got a starter app. Could you click on that starter app, Jillian? And I loaded up just a starter app. So if you can go to view code and maybe hit remix on this also. Thank you. So we have a little bit of a starter app for you. And I've got a home screen, and we've got another page, and we click on the home. Thank you. I think we click on the biography button. Did you click on biography? Was it? Yeah. So we click on biography. It will go to that screen. So you can practice and see how this is set up. You've got the fundamentals of where this could go. And then you have the main app to use and compare with. So we really hope that you can think about using App Lab in your classrooms. It's a wonderful program. This is just some starter code for you to play around with. And Jillian, if you want to go back, I know we're at 4 minutes. If you want to go back, if you could go to the end of our presentation, we have the timeline, but could you just show them all of the links to our names if they want to get help before and we can go back to the timeline. So there's lots of links for you. We have our website, our different curriculum websites, and the tech pathway and the civics. Please reach out to any of us if you have any questions or help, or if you would like to implement this in your own classrooms. We would love to assist you. So I'll turn it back over to Jillian and Bernardo. Is there any questions specifically about App Lab? If there's anything I can answer, or if you're trying to remix or having a little bit of a struggle with getting the apps onto your own computers.
Yeah, I see in the chat we have some discussion going on, and it's being asked a question about platform, how to choose based on your curriculum. I think that's a great question.
That's a good question.
So I would say code.org is kind of like it's been favored by technology and civic teachers when you have your students that it connect with your curriculum, that you want to create some like informational apps talking about some ideas. And we even have students to make a game using App Lab. It's by just changing the image, like they do like environmental app, which like talking about the light pollution. So they're only change from a bright day to the nighttime by clicking a torch, like you find a torch on the screen. So that's also a very cute idea of using the simple codes to do so. But I also know like for some teachers like chemistry and physics, you want to have students build some simulation. I think the Starlog Nova is a good app. It is a good tool to have students to do that, to do the simulation. So I tried that out a little bit before. Yeah. So I think like, just like I said, if you have your students, our project goal is to connect our students with computer science, which have them thinking about creating apps for social good. So App Lab is what our choice is because it's the simplest to go with the students and have them thinking about spreading some informations and things like that. So, and I see that you recommended another tool called createcode.com. Yeah, we'll explore that. Thank you for sharing.
Can I jump in also? And I put this in the chat as well. One of the things that we were also working on is getting teachers who weren't familiar with coding or CS at all into coding as well. And so we were also concentrating on having everybody use a common platform so that the teachers would be able to share experiences across their classrooms as well. It wasn't necessarily apps themselves, but rather creating an engaging computer science experience for both the teachers and the students together.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm trying to think if there's any other. Yeah. Thank you so much. Is there any other questions? Or is there any, if anybody needs any troubleshooting with, if they're trying to play around with the app and you need a little bit of help, please let us know.
Yeah, and this time, like I know we've already reached it to the end. Just if people want to stay, we can show a little bit of some of the apps that created by the students. It's on our website, so you guys can explore. Thanks. This is the environment. I think this is that game one I talked about before. Oh no, it's not. So, but you can see like our students being pretty creative. Yeah, this is one of the science class that students try to create an app and connect. Teacher encouraged them to connecting with their course, the science course, and the topic was about environment. So it has lots of possibility of lots of opportunities to for you to think about which unit you want to integrate this into. So yeah, feel free to browse our website, and thank you everybody for coming to our session of presentation. And
Thank you so much.
yeah, and feel free to reach out if any question.
Enjoy the rest of the conference. Yay, New York. Oh, Tom, are you here? Tom.
No.